What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So in today's video we are going to be learning how we can upload files to Firebase storage, how we can implement it in our React app. So that's what we'll be doing here. But in this case, we won't just be uploading any file. We are going to be uploading images to Firebase, but then you can still use this same procedure to upload any file you want to upload, whether a document, PDF, whatever the case may be. You can use the same procedure to upload files to Firebase. So in this demo, we are going to be using Next.js, and then we are going to be using TypeScript as well. So Next.js with TypeScript, that's what we are going to be using in this project. We are going to see how we can upload these images to Firebase storage and then get a URL, and then we can use the URL to do whatever we want to do with it, basically. So that's what we'll be doing in this project. So if that sounds interesting, please do what to like this video, and then you can also leave your thoughts in the comment section as well. If you are new to this channel, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and I'm going to appreciate that a lot. Okay, let's go straight into the demo of what we are trying to accomplish here. So what we have here now, you can see a box here with a title pick image, right? And then we have a button here, say upload image, and then we have another box here. So what we want to do now is when we press this pick image box, it is going to pop up this view for me to pick any image at all I want. Okay, so I can select any image here, and then I'll have it in the box. Okay, so the goal here is when I press the upload image button, it should upload this image to Firebase for me, and then it should return a URL, right, where I can use that URL to access the uploaded image on Firebase. Okay, so once we get the URL, and once I press the upload image and then we get a URL, we want that URL image to be in this place. So basically this image will come back here but as an uploaded image form. So it's going to be a URL image form on the server on Firebase, basically. So this comes in handy if maybe you are working on a full stack project where you need to manage files from users, whether users have to update their profile picture, or make some posts where they have to add images and so on and so forth. In such situations where you're having a database also, you might want to upload the images somewhere, have the URL, and then save the URL in your database so that anytime your app is being accessed, you can have access to all those images. So that's the goal here. We're going to learn how we can upload the images on Firebase storage, and then how we can get the URL and then do whatever we want to do with that URL. In this case, the image should appear in this box. So that's what we are trying to do here. So let's move straight into achieving our goal. So right now, as you can see here, we just went through some series of processes here where when we pressed the box, it opened a pop-up for us. So I've already done those tiny bits because that's not the main focus of this video. The main focus is to see how we can upload files to Firebase and get them back. Okay, but then I'll go through what I've done currently so that we are all on the same page. So we have this this state here where we say picked image and then set picked image. So this is basically storing the image that has been picked. So when I press the box and then I select an image, it's being stored in this state. Okay, that particular image is being stored in this state, and this is the function that does that. Okay, so with this select image functions, it uses this file reader class to make all the asynchronous process, or basically get the file or the image in a data URL format, basically. So this is the function you need to pick the files. Okay, and then we have this this main component here, and then this div here. This div here is basically the first box that when you press on it, it opens the finder for you to basically pick your file. Okay, so this is that particular div, and then we have the image here. So you can see that initially it's going to be pick image. There's a text in the center saying pick image. So once you select an image, and then it changes to the actual image. So I'm placing a state here saying that if you have a picked image, right now, note this is the picked image. Right now it's an empty string. So if we select an image, the image should appear, else it should just say pick image. So that's what we have there right now. So if I refresh this page and I clear it, you can see that we can see the pick image here. But when I select an image, is going to be replaced with the image I have selected. Okay, so that's basically the logic we have here. And you have this inputs field here, but then this is the input that's doing the magic in the back end. Okay, so basically this input field is there, but then it's hidden. You can see that it is hidden. Okay, we don't want it to be there. We want to press this box instead of pressing this input field. So to do that, we have the input field there though, but then we've hidden it. But then we are placing a reference to it. Okay, so I've added a variable here called pickRef with a useRef state as a React hook. Okay, so with this pickRef, I'm placing it here as a ref on this input field. So once you press on the div containing the pick image, it's going to make reference to it being clicked. Okay, so pickref.current.click is basically going to say that once you click on this box, it should be as though you've clicked on this input field, even though you haven't clicked directly on this input field. This ref is helping us make it as if we click this box, we are clicking on this this input file here. So you can see that it's an input and it's a type of what file. And right now we are only accepting images, PNG, JPEG, and so on. But then it can obviously take any file at all. But then we are restricting this video to just images because of the demo purposes. But you can still follow the same procedure to upload other images or other files. And we have this button here which says what upload image, which is here as you can see. And then this final div here, which basically is this box, right, which is going to contain the image once it has been uploaded, basically. Okay, great. So at this point, we can now go ahead and start our upload process. Okay, to Firebase file storage, Firebase storage, right? Okay, so the first thing we want to do now is head over to our browser and then search Firebase, right? Just type and then you press the first link that appears. It's going to take you to the Firebase console. Okay, or basically you go to the Firebase console yourself. So let me see which account is being logged in here right now. Okay, so I'll switch this account because I have used all my free. Okay, let's choose this one instead. Good. So we can now go to console. So once you are on Firebase, if you don't have an account, you can just create a new account on Firebase to start using the services of Firebase. So once you are on the console like this, you can see these are other projects that I have, but then you can press add project to create a new project. So once you press the add project, you can enter your project's name. Okay, so let's start with a name for your project. So we're going to name it FB, let's say FB storage YT. FB meaning Firebase. Okay, so Firebase storage YouTube, YT for YouTube. Okay, this is a short form of what we are trying to do here. You press continue, and then here it's saying enable Google Analytics for this project, but we are not going to be using Google Analytics, so I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to create the project. Now we're just going to go ahead and then create a Firebase project for us to use. So it's going to take a few moments, and then we can go ahead and then start using it. Okay, so it's done. The project has now been built. So that's, as you can see, FB storage YT, FB storage YT. Good. So as you can see, you can use Firebase for various projects, be it iOS apps, Android apps, web, Unity apps, Flutter apps, etc. So you can use Firebase for these kinds of projects. But we are going to be focusing on web today because that's what we are doing. So we're just going to choose the web here, and you need to provide a nickname for your app. You are going to use the same name. So I'm going to say FB storage YT, and I'm going to register the app. Good. So at this point, you get some prompts of certain things you need to do. So if you want to use npm, you're going to follow this procedure. If you want to use a script tag, and you change the radio to the script tag, and you're going to follow this procedure. But we are using the npm, so we are going to leave it on npm. And then the first thing we want to do now is run this command which says well npm install Firebase. And this is going to go ahead and then install Firebase into our project. So I'm going to open the terminal and then split this terminal, paste the command in there to install Firebase for us. So this is going to go ahead and install Firebase into our dependencies. And then the next thing we want to do here is what? Initialize Firebase and begin using the SDKs for the products you'd like to use. So this is a configuration we need to add for us to have access to this Firebase project we've created. Okay, so we need to first copy this configurations. I'm going to copy it, and then in our project, in our roots directory, I'm just going to create a new file. I'm going to create a new file, and I'm going to name it firebase.ts. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and then paste in what I just copied. So the installation is done. We can now close this and then close the terminal. So this is, we've now pasted it in here, as you can see. Okay, so now we can now continue to console. Good. So now we have successfully initialized our Firebase project. We have installed it in our project tool as well. So the next thing we want to do is on the left tab here, you can see some build drop down here. When you press on it, we're going to see different services that you can access from Firebase. You can see authentication, app check, file store database, real-time database, and so on. But we are going to be focusing on the storage today because that's what we want to do today. We're going to see how we can use the Firebase storage. So we're going to press on the storage and then come over here. I'm going to press get started so they can get started with it. Now you're going to be prompted with setup cloud storage. Now here you have these options to choose whether you want to start in production mode or start in test mode. Now we're going to start in test mode because we don't want any authentication or so whatsoever. This is just for test and demo purposes. So I'm going to start in test mode, and then it gives us these rules. Okay, so we're going to press next, and then we'll get this warning that once you select your location, I mean, don't pay much attention to it. So you just select your location and then you press done. We're just going to go ahead and then create a storage bucket for your project. Alright, so the setup is done. Here, our storage buckets has successfully been created. So as you can see, we get this buckets where you can have this upload file button here to upload it manually, to upload your files manually, or whatever you want to do. Okay, so in this case, you can clearly see that our storage bucket has been created, and we can start uploading files to it. Okay, so first of all, let's check the demo for this storage. Okay, so let's come over here, press on this question mark button, and then go to storage developer docs and see. Let's see what the docs have for us. Okay, so down here you can see web, and let's go to get started here. Okay, so first thing we want to do here is we need to import get storage from Firebase storage. Okay, so that's what we want to do next. So in our configuration here, you can see that we have, let's clear these comments. We have this initialize app from Firebase. We are now going to import the get storage from Firebase storage. Okay, and at this point, we are going to create a state here called storage, and then we are going to initialize it with a get storage, and then we put in the app that we have here. So the app basically is the configuration we have from Firebase. Okay, so this app is initializing the app on Firebase, and then with the get storage, we are now placing the app as a parameter inside the get storage. So we have this storage variable here. So now let's export it because we'll be using it in other files. Okay, so we're going to export the storage so that we can use it. So let's go back to the page file here, and then back into the docs. Now that we've initialized the storage, the next thing we want to do now is create a reference. Okay, so what's the reference basically? So what the reference is that once you have uploaded a file or whatever, an image or whatever the case is on Firebase storage, you need to have a reference to it Now it is through this reference that you can access that particular file. Okay, so let's say you are able to upload multiple files onto your Firebase storage. You need to have a reference to every single file that you have uploaded. So basically you need to create a reference for each one of them. That's what the reference here is. Basically creating reference to every file that you have stored in your Firebase storage. So that's what we'll be doing here next. Adding a reference, basically. Okay. So the reference we want to create here, you can see clearly that you are going to use something called ref from Firebase storage. So that's what we are going to be using. And then we add the storage that we've created. Okay. So basically, let's do that. Let's call it storage ref. And then I'm going to go ahead and then paste it in here. So call storage ref. And let's import the ref. Okay, you're going to import it from Firebase storage. So you can see it's being imported here. And then the storage, remember that we've exported it from Firebase. So we're going to import it now. So remember this storage is from the file we created here. Okay, so that's the storage that's been added here. Now now we are basically, with this variable, we are basically making reference to our storage buckets that we've created now on Firebase. Okay, we are not necessarily creating a reference to any file. Okay, so if you want to create a reference to any file, you have to go ahead and then add a child reference, as you can see here. So create a child reference here. So if this is the image ref, create a storage, add a storage, and then you add a child reference. Okay, so what this simply means is that once this reference has been created and you are able to upload the file to Firebase storage, that file is going to be named what? Images. That's basically going to be the name of the file, basically. Okay, so we are going to do that and then we're going to see how that is going to work. So we're going to go ahead and then add the name here, say images. But it's supposed to be a string. Okay, don't forget, it's supposed to be a string, as you can see here. Great. And then if you also want to add different parts to the reference as well, you can see that you have the images / then another name, basically. So what this is going to do is it's going to create a folder, some sort of folder on Firebase for you, storing all the images. Okay, so if you have multiple images with reference images / some unique name, it's going to basically create all those files inside this particular images folder. Basically, that's what this reference here is. Okay, so that's just about it. And let's go to the upload files. Okay, so you have gone through the reference. Let's go to the upload files and let's see how we can now go ahead and then upload the files. Now you can use multiple ways, different ways here to upload the file, but we are going to be using the upload from a string. Okay, so that's what we are going to be using. And with that, if you can see here, if a blob file or uni8 array isn't available, you can use the upload string, which is what we are going to be using method to upload a raw base64 URL or data URL encoded string to cloud storage. Okay, so these are different methods that we can use, but in our case, our file is not going to be uploaded in the form of base64 or base64 URL. Our file is in the form of a data URL. Okay, that's the form in which our file is, and we're going to see that in a moment. So we're going to follow the data URL method. Okay, so but then this is the format for base64 formatted string. We're not going to use that, and this is the base64 URL formatted string. We're not going to use that either. We're going to be using the format for the data URL string, which is this procedure. So that's what we're going to do. Now, what shows that our file is a data URL? Let me show you something here. So in our function, we are logging in the select image. Once the image has been selected, we set the picker image, this is this state, we set it to the file that has been selected, right? And then we are logging it out. So let's see how the file looks like. So let me open the console so that we see exactly how the file looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and press on this, select an image, and then in our console, you can see the file here. Okay, the picked image, and you can see that data column image / JPEG blah 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 and a whole lot. So this basically shows that our file is in the form of what? Data URL. So that's what we are going to be using. We're going to be using a data URL and then follow this process to upload our file. So let's go ahead and create a new function which we'll be using to upload our file. So we are going to call it upload file to Firebase, like so. And then it's going to be an async function, right? So let's add an async here. and then we're going to put it in a try catch block like so. Okay, and then we're going to log, just in case we have an error. We're going to log the error. Okay, so good. So what we want to do here now is add this upload string here. Okay, well, that's what we're going to do. Copy this upload string, and here you can see that we have the const message for equals data. This has been manually added, right? So data column text plain, basically in a data URL format. But in our case, we are setting our data URL into this state, which is what pick image. So that's what we'll be doing here. Okay, so let me paste it down here, and then we're going to import the upload string here like so. And then we have the storage ref here, and then this message first is going to be replaced with a picked image. Okay, going to replace it with a picked image. And this is going to be an asynchronous action. So we are going to await it. Okay, we're going to await it like this. So wait for it to be done before we move on to the next thing. Yeah, so basically this is all we need to do. Basically, this is all we need to do to upload the file. By doing this, the file that we've created, this data URL, is going to be uploaded to Firebase, and it's going to be stored there. Basically, just doing this is going to have our file or image stored on Firebase storage. Okay, so that's what we have here: data URL and then the storage reference. Okay, now so the next thing we want to do is, how are we then going to get a URL or the downloadable URL that we can use the URL for whatever we want to do? In that case, you come to the download files here to follow that the documentation they have there. Okay, so with that, we are going to basically use a function here. Let's see. Yeah, so you can see here, you can see a function here say get download URL, and then this is the reference, the image reference you are making to Firebase. Okay, basically, so that's all we need to do. Okay, we need to add this get download URL. Let me just copy everything here, and then we paste it here. So get download URL. And instead of having this ref here, remember we've already created a reference here like this. So I'm going to replace it with storage ref. And it basically means give me a downloadable URL to this particular reference of Firebase. Okay, so it's going to go ahead and go enter our Firebase bucket, our storage bucket, and then return a URL for that particular image or file that we have over there. Okay, so that's what that line is going to be doing. So that's also an asynchronous action, and we can set it to a URL, a variable called URL, and then we're going to await it like so. Okay, we're going to have a variable here saying URL, and then we can log that URL on the console to see what we have. Let's see, downloadable URL. And let's create another state here and then call it image URL like so. And then we are going to set image URL to the URL that we have, over here. Okay, so once the file has been uploaded, we are going to have the image URL in this state. So now we can now add, since we have the function, we can now add this function to the button here which says the upload image. We can now have it in here and say on click, and then we paste in the function in here like so. Okay, all right. And also one thing that I would want to add is a loader. Okay, so let's create another state here, and then we are going to name it loading. Then let's update this, and it's going to be a boolean, right? But initially it's going to be false. It's going to be false. So once this function, which is upload file to FB, has started, we're going to set loading to true, and then once it's done, we are going to set it to false to have this loading state. And when we come back here to this button, we are, instead of having this upload image alone, we are going to see if loading is true, we are going to see loading like so, else the title is going to be upload image. Okay, so basically what this means is if loading is true, the title of this button should be loading dot dot dot, else the title should be upload image. Okay, so here as you can see that back to our app, you can see it is upload image, but then if I set loading here to true, it should not tell me that it is loading, as you can see. So let's take it back to false. Okay, good. So now at this point, let's see if this works. We have our storage bucket here. Right now the bucket is empty because there is no images being uploaded here. Okay, we don't have any image uploaded. So now let's also open the console to see if our logs are being logged. And then let's clear this. Let's pick an image. Let me pick this one. And then press upload image. Now see the loading is loading. It's loading. Okay, we have an error. Firebase or an error. Okay, please check the error code. Let's see what's going on. Okay, so turns out the issue was from my storage rules, right? So when we come to rules, the rules tab here, I'm going to see the rules being set here. So initially, the allow read write if true was allow read write if false. So it's not allowing the files to be uploaded. Now we want to keep it public at this point in the beginning stages. So maybe in the future, if you want to protect the storage, then you add some authentication to the rules. I mean, you can go through the documentation for the storage rules to update the rules to suit your project line. Okay, so all I had to do was change the rules here from false to true, as you can see here. So now it is true, and we can now go ahead and upload our files. Okay, so we can read the documentation towards the rules and then see how best you can update or adjust the rules to suit whatever you want to do. Okay, but then this problem was caused by when we started setting it up. Remember, we removed it from production to test. Okay, so probably there was an issue over there because technically once you've selected a test, it should basically be on public, basically. So I think I was having an issue with my internet at that point. That's why that was the case in this point. But then all is set, just update if you are facing this. I'm sure you guys won't face this challenge, but then if in case you come across this issue, you can just update the rule like so. Okay, so back to our file bucket. We don't have any image in here. So if you go back and then let me refresh this page, right? If we go back to our browser, and then now I've not changed anything in the code. We still having the same code. I've not changed anything in the code. So if you press on the pick image and then you select any image in here, as you can see, you have our data URL. And when we upload the image, this is going to go ahead and then upload the image for us. So as you can see, also we get a downloadable URL here. So this is telling us that this image has been uploaded to our Firebase storage bucket. And then you come in here and then you refresh your bucket, you should see that image over there. Okay, so as you can see, you have images here. And then, okay, we have a new. Okay, I think I've updated something. Okay, so yeah, I forgot to mention, I changed whilst I was debugging, I actually changed the reference. To see if that was the problem. So here you can see now the reference is image/hero. Okay, that's why we have this images folder and then this hero as the image name. So this is the image we just uploaded. Okay, this is the image we just uploaded, and you can see it here. And then once you press this URL that's been provided to, it's going to give you that image basically, as you can see. So this is it. You've been able to upload the image and you have gotten a URL in return as well. So here you can clearly see that you can adjust the reference anyhow you want it. So we can just see test here like this, and then let's add another image here and then upload it. It's going to go ahead and then upload it and provide a URL for us. This is the URL. You press it, it takes you there, and then when you come in here and then you refresh it, you now see the hero and then test. Okay, good, and they are all inside the images folder basically. So you can see the essence of the reference. So if you add a slash, like I said earlier, if you add a slash and then some other unique name, it's going to provide different files for inside within this particular images folder. Else, if you just keep it as images, it's just going to be created in the root. The image is going to be created in the root directory basically. So we're going to have just an image file here named image, and then it's not going to be in a folder from where you press the folder and then it takes you to where the image is. Okay, so that's that. So now we've been able to upload the image, and then we are getting the URL back as well. So let's now see how we can now add it to the box. Okay, so I'm going to say here that if we have an image URL, mind you, we are setting the image URL to the URL that we are setting it to this state called image URL. And we're saying that if we have image URL here, then we're going to do something. We're going to say the image. We're going to have the image component in here. We're going to have the src here to be the image URL. Image URL, like so. And then we're going to have an alt here. It's going to be fill. And then let's copy this thing here. Layer object fit should be cover. Okay, so once this is basically saying once we have the image URL, add an image to this div, and then set the source to be what the URL that we get back from Firebase. Okay, basically, so that's what we have done here. So let's create a new image and then add a new reference here. I call it new. Okay, and back again, once again, let's close this, open here, and you're going to see the image being added here. So let's add a new image here. Okay, let's pick this image and then upload image. Now we should see it here once it's up. Okay, good. So this is an error. This is an error from Firebase with Next.js. So with Next.js, anytime you're adding a new image from any server, you need to provide that domain of the image that you're adding. So in this case, we are getting this error because we haven't added the host name to our next config.js. The host name being what? Firebase.google.apis.com. So we're going to do that right now. So I'm going to go ahead and paste in inside our next.config.mjs. I'm going to paste in some code in here inside the next config dot, and then it's basically saying that accept all images coming from this host name firebase.googleapis.com. Okay, so you can also go ahead and copy this code in here to allow images being uploaded from that source. Okay, so once you update this file, you need to restart your server. Okay, so let's clear this and then restart it by saying dev. Now you can use npm run dev or whatever. If you're on Mac, you can use yarn dev, or if you're using Windows, you can go ahead and use npm run dev. Okay, so let me restart this file. But then the image has already been uploaded. Okay, if you come here, the image should be uploaded. This is just a Next.js issue. So as you can see, the image has been uploaded. You can see new, and it is there. Okay, so let's now add a new image, but then let's change the reference. So you can see, note that we are now updating the reference manually. So in a full app that you are building, you should be able to come up with a mechanism where you can be able to create unique identifiers or reference for every image or every file that you are uploading to Firebase storage. Okay, so let me just say another one. Okay, so this is going to be the reference, and then let's add the image now. I'm going to add this and then upload image. Now this should go ahead and then upload it, and then the image should come back here for us. Okay, okay, so we get a URL here indicating that the image has successfully been uploaded, and then we are getting the URL. So at this point, we are now waiting for the image to appear in this box here. I'm going to take some time downloading the image. Good. So as you can see, we now have the image here. The image has now clearly appeared in our domain box. So this image, this particular one here is containing the image from our device, right? But then this image is coming from the server or from Firebase storage, where we've now uploaded that image, and we have gotten the URL, which is this URL, right? So when you press on it, it's going to open the image for us. So now our image is now being stored in a storage bucket on Firebase. As simple as that, as you can see here. Okay, so you can follow this procedure to upload any type of file on Firebase storage, and this is very simple to do. It's just that you need to understand why you need to do it and how you have to do it, basically. Okay, so you just use this function here to upload your files to Firebase storage. As you can see, we now have all the files in here and then the images. Okay, good. So this is where we come to an end with this demonstration. If this video was helpful, do well to like this video and leave your thoughts in the comment section as well. If you are new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and I'm going to appreciate that a lot. Thank you very much for your time, and then catch you in the next video.